Welcome to I'll Marry You, a podcast with me, Olivia Coleman, full of tips and tricks from the UK wedding scene, interviews with industry experts, and a whole lot of oversharing. Hello, 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 hello. Testing, 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 testing. 1, 2, 3. Far away, isn't it, Drew? Drew would tell me off. Probably tell me off anyway. I'm back. Yes, it was back. That shows my age. This is going to take a while to get back into. I'm I'm feeling different. 2025, and I'm a mother of 2 now. If you're watching this, I apologise because I'm wearing a co-ord from Zara, and I'm not going to not mention where I shop because A, I'm not an influencer, however much I think I am, and B, if I was an influencer, I would want Zara to give me free clothes. So there's that. I'm wearing this really lovely co-ord from Zara that's navy blue. James said it makes me look like a trendy midwife, which I'm not mad about. But actually, looking at the camera, if you are watching this episode on podcast, Jesus, baby brain, if you're watching this episode on YouTube, you'll see it's very unflattering. It makes me look ginormous, and I'm not ginormous anymore. I'm back to being just a little bit tubby, like I was before I was pregnant, which is wonderful. My tits are very saggy, but that's standard. And again, if you're just tune off. Do you know what I mean? Just turn off YouTube. I don't know why you're watching this. I'm not attractive enough for you to warrant watching the video. I know that's what you Gen Z do, but I would just suggest you listen. I'm really more of a vocal coach. Honestly, baby brain is a real thing, and I'm getting back into this. I haven't recorded for a while. I've not really socialized, if I'm honest, for a while. I've not really spoken to people for a while. So this is good. This is the episode where I'm going to get back into the swing of it. Okay, I promise you, I'll be back on top form by the next episode next week. This is just this is going to take some time. Also, I'm so sleep deprived. I'm getting like 2-hour windows of sleep, which actually, when you've got a newborn, is a good thing. Can you believe it's a good thing? So I'm going to say sorry in advance because I can already tell. I've literally just pressed record and I can already tell this isn't going to be my best work. So I'm going to say sorry. I'm going to say bear with me. If you can stick by Brittany during the old head shaving debacle, she's really concerning me at the moment. If you don't follow her on social media, bless her heart, she's not well. But if you can stick by Brittany through that, then you can stick by me through this episode, okay? I need your support, and like I say, it will get better. I will get better. Shall we begin? So obviously, this is a wedding podcast, in case you've never listened to it before. We've just taken a brief break so that I could celebrate Jesus's birthday and my own child's, because of course it was Christmas and I gave birth to Jesus. Well, the second coming. No one comes twice. Such fun. So in the space of the last 30 seconds, what we've done is I've shown you that although this is indeed a wedding podcast, it's really absolute nonsense, gibberish, and me talking bollocks, making inappropriate comments, probably offending people. And on occasion we talk about weddings because I am a celebrant and I marry people. That's how I describe it to my 4-year-old. Mummy marries people. She's essentially a bigamist. So welcome back. Thank you for bearing with me on the break. I would be remiss, of course, if I wasn't to just tell you a little bit about Labour. Giving birth, not the political party, because for them I care not. I don't actually understand enough about politics to discuss it. Shock, I know. So it would be remiss of me not to mention it because it happened, and it was something. It was something quite monumental. And what I've learnt in the last few days, I've been having a bit of an identity crisis. This is another thing we do on this podcast, is we flit from topic to topic. I've been having an identity crisis because I stopped doing the podcast before Christmas and I'm doing a lot less work this year, 2025, because of the baby. And I've been going on social media to try and sort of keep abreast, uh, stay relevant. And I've noticed that every Tom, Dick, and their Aunt Fanny are doing a podcast now. Are doing a wedding podcast. When I started my wedding podcast 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know, producer Drew, I don't know. Um, there really weren't many, full stop. There certainly weren't many UK based. And I don't think, I might be wrong because I don't do a lot of research for this, but I don't think there were any UK based wedding podcasts that weren't coming at you from like a company or a business. There was things like Hitched, I believe they had one, but that is a wedding directory. That's a company, that's a business, that's a group of people. So I believe, again, might be wrong, but I believe that when I started this, I was the first Aunt Fanny, the first solo, if you will, to start a UK-based wedding podcast, and I was really quite smug about it. And then other people jumped on the bandwagon, and that was fine. And now more people are, and it's becoming quite condensed. Is that the word? No, drenched. No, it's becoming, I don't know what the word is, baby brain. Um, but it's saturated like fats. There's a lot of people coming in that are doing this podcast malarkey. And great, support the community, blah, 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 women supporting women, whatnot, willy-nilly. But it made me feel this week like I'm out the loop. I'm spending all my time at home with the baby. I'm essentially just a cow at this point. I'm just milking 24/7. And I had barely had time to answer my emails. Everyone's getting in the swing of things. It's the new year. It's busiest time for engagement. And I just felt really like, oh, everyone's going to forget about me, and I'm going to be irrelevant and I'll probably be working in an office in the next 2 years. So that's cool. So I had a little crisis this week. And then I thought to myself, get a fucking grip, Olivia. That's what I thought to myself. I thought, first of all, that's the hormones talking. It's not me. It's my mental health. And second of all, ain't nobody like me. And that's not saying that I'm anything special, but there is no one that can be you. There is only one you. So these other wedding podcasts, probably a lot better, but probably not as fun, are they? Probably not as inappropriate. And at the end of the day, all I can do for you gorgeous lot who actually do tune in and do message and tell me that you enjoy the podcast and that you think it's helpful and funny, and that's incredible. For those people that tune in, all I can do is carry on doing what I'm doing and being myself. So I'm going to try and squish this identity crisis and this imposter syndrome, and I'm going to try and just carry on doing what I do. And what I do is I overshare. Okay, so I'm going to tell you all about my labour. Oh my god, it's so good to drink real coffee again. So I'm not going to lie to you, people. It was bleak. The last month of pregnancy was bleak. It's not a fun time. No one enjoys it. If you were listening for the last few weeks, that I don't love being pregnant, full stop. I don't think anyone enjoys the last few weeks. You are so uncomfortable. You're huge. I couldn't do my shoelaces up. My wardrobe was completely gone to shit. I kept going shopping to cheer myself up, and everything in the shops is Christmas and sequins and glitter and all the fabulous things. And I couldn't bloody wear any of it, could I? So that just made me even more depressed. I just get a muffin and go home and cry. So it was a bleak time. And I think in all honesty, my notes said, this one is really struggling mentally because they were ever so nice to me. So my waters broke. I won't go into huge detail, but basically my waters broke at 9:30 in the morning, went into hospital. They were like, we'll give you an exam. Now, something you should know about me, if you don't already, and I'm sure you do, is that I like to make inappropriate jokes. And it's not actually that I enjoy making them. I can't help myself. I can't stop. If people say silly things, it warrants a silly answer. If they say serious things, I can't take it seriously. I really struggle not to make inappropriate comments and inappropriate jokes. I'm sure there's some study about that. Is it a spectrum thing? Probably. We're all on the spectrum somewhere, aren't we? So she's like, we'll give you an examination. So I asked her if she could get out her head torch, really dig around in there, and she sort of laughed. And luckily, they think I'm funny. And James is sort of rolling his eyes. Oh, please stop, please stop. Then I refer to my vagina as a wizard's sleeve. So again, if you've tuned into this podcast for some serious wedding advice, God bless you, Godspeed, and good luck, because this ain't it, sugar tits. No, it is, it is, it is. I do give helpful advice, just not today. Anyway, so I referred to it as a wizard's sleeve. I told her to get out a head torch. James was at this point was apologizing on my behalf, and I think I referred to it sort of as a mining expedition. But luckily they found me funny. And then when I told them that I wanted an epidural and also a choir of midwives singing Carol of the Bells, because of course it was the 20th of December, it's Christmas. I had a vision of being in labour whilst, lots of women sort of stood around the bed. They actually were on board with it. Poor James is just there trying not to leave every 2 minutes to go and have a stress vape. Anyway, it was very uncomfortable. The midwives were amazing. Got in, agony in there, just agony, absolute agony. Went down, waited for the epidural. For those who aren't in the know, an epidural is the anesthetic that sort of goes from your chest down, so you can't feel anything. Absolute fucking wonderful. I don't know why all women giving birth don't have that level of pain relief. My first labour, I didn't have anything except gas and air, and it was incredibly uncomfortable. It's an understatement. Absolute fucking agony. This time, bloody bliss, wasn't it? Bliss. Few hours, well, 6 hours of agony. And then I said, "Where's the doctor? Where's the anaesthetist? Okay, where is the guy?" And they were like, "Oh, he's just having some food because he's not eaten all day. Bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him." Is his insides being torn out? Are they? No, but get a little granola bar, won't you, Kevin? So he was an hour having his dinner. He came in and I said, "How was your tasting menu, doctor?" And he was like, "Pardon?" I was like, "Well, you've been been eating a long time." So I assumed there were several courses and possibly a wine flight. Luckily, he found that funny as well, and he didn't stab me in the neck with the needle. The midwives kept saying, "Oh, the drugs are kicking in," and James was like, "No, no, just her." So then I had the epidural, and then it was bloody beautiful. I couldn't feel an absolute thing, could I? Except pressure, like when you really need a poo. And that was all I could think of. That was all I could feel. So actually, then I spent 2 hours just drinking cups of tea, chatting to the midwives. I planned one of their weddings to her girlfriend. I was like, "Don't worry, we've got this." They're not even engaged, but she started talking about it. I just can't help it. I want to know everything about everyone, don't I? And then we were chatting for ages about their fictitious wedding. So that was fun. And then she was like, "Oh, you're ready. You're ready at 10 centimeters." Just imagine that, won't you? Take a minute if you've never given birth before, or indeed if you are a man. I just want you to imagine something's gone from 0.5 centimeters. At the beginning, they kept telling me I was 1 centimeters dilated. I was like, who isn't? Who isn't at this point? But imagine going from 0 to 10 centimeters, where really you shouldn't, because that's fun. And they're like, "Shall we push?" I was like, "Yeah, right, babes, yeah, let's push." Because I couldn't feel it, could I? Anyway, I pushed for 20 minutes and out she popped, didn't she? Wizard sleeve. Told you once, tell you again. It was gorgeous. So Penelope Charles Coleman, born on the 20th of December 2024 at the IUH Hospital in Bath, daughter to James and Olivia, sister to Lola. Penelope we like just because we do, and Charles is after my granddad and the king. God save the king. So that was me. That was my labour. That was Christmas. And then we went straight into Christmas. We had 3 nights at home, and then we went to my in-laws for a week, and then we went to my parents for a week. So it was a lovely transition into motherhood ×2 because I didn't have to cook or clean or do anything, did I? Absolutely nothing at all. I hope everyone listening had the most wonderful Christmas, probably slightly less eventful than mine. But I hope it was good. It feels like bloody ages ago now, doesn't it? They've got Easter shit in the shops. What's that about? Don't know. I'm excited about it though, because now mince pie season is over. Sad. We've got hot cross buns, so no need to worry. And I can't physically go to the gym yet, so I'm really enjoying this gluttonous time that I'm indulging in. So we've had Christmas and we've had New Year. Did you make it to midnight? I didn't. I don't need to. I don't care, if I'm honest. My 8-year-old nephew made it to midnight, but I didn't. And then now we're in 2025. And of course, It's January, and you know that this is the busiest time for engagements and the busiest time for bookings. See, it only took me 15 minutes and 45 seconds to get onto weddings, but we're here. Okay, we're here, people. RSVP coming. So Christmas is the busiest time. I know a few people, the inquiries have started coming in. And even though I have done this episode once, if not twice before, I'm going to do it again because it's actually, I think, what probably the most important lesson that I can teach. And I think it's probably the most listened to episode as well. Producer Drew will tell me. So what I want to talk to you briefly about today, because really it's all about me and my personal life and my labor, is you've just got engaged, and what the bloody hell do you do now?
Hello, everybody. Producer Drew here, jumping in to let you know that this podcast is sponsored by Filmed on Phones. With Filmed on Phones, your loved ones video your wedding on their phones, and their clips are edited into a fun highlights video by a professional video editor. Their platform makes it really simple. They let you assign videography tasks to selected specific guests who receive guidance on what to shoot and how to shoot it, and a link to upload their clips. The end result is an affordable, relaxed, and fun wedding video made collaboratively with your family and friends that I wish existed when I got married. To find out more, listen to our episode where we spoke to Ollie from Filmed on Phones, or visit filmedonphones.com. Now back to the episode.
So, busiest time for engagements and busiest times for wedding planning is the beginning of the year, which is strange because no one has any money, do they? And everyone's feeling a bit fat, but everyone gets engaged at Christmas because then they don't have to buy the presents, which is actually quite clever. You know, cheeky, but clever. So you just got engaged. Bloody well done. Well done, you. Was it a surprise? I want to hear everything. If you're listening and you have recently become engaged, I want to hear your engagement story. So do DM me with all the information. Were you surprised? Did you propose? Did your partner propose? How did they do it? Did they have the ring? A lot of people propose with a fake ring. And I think that is sensible because I actually think that choosing a ring for someone to wear for the rest of their life is more of a risk than asking them to marry you. Because I feel like at that point, you should know that they're going to say yes. But choosing a piece of jewelry that someone's going to love forever is actually quite a big responsibility. Um, so people do propose with fake rings. The only bugger is that when people propose with fake rings that are significantly bigger, flashier, and more exotic and shiny, shiny than any real ring that person can afford. That's the issue. So if you were going to propose with a fake ring, may I suggest straight off the bat that you propose with a shit one? I did actually have a couple last year. They got married with me last year, but when he proposed, he he did propose. He proposed on Christmas morning, and he did propose with a really ugly shit ring. And for like 10 minutes, he hid it in a handbag on Christmas morning and was like, "Oh, here's your present." She opened the handbag and then she took out the ring and she was like, "Oh, oh wow. Oh, lovely." I was really disappointed. And then he was like, "Joking," and handed out this whopper. Risky game, but fun. But that's the way to do it because when I was younger, I used to go into Marks and Spencer's and I used to try on all of the. Yes, I did go to Marks and Spencer's when I was younger, Karen. Okay, deal with it. You were born there, you boring old bint. Still got that pregnancy anger. I used to go into Marks and Spencer's and I would try on their costume jewelry that was like fake engagement rings, and I used to just spend ages doing it. And I loved it, and still do. And they're these ginormous fake sapphires and these incredible fake diamonds, and it's like, well, you in real life that would be hundreds of thousands of pounds. You're not Madonna. You're not bloody Beyonce. You're not gonna have a ring like that. If you are, more for you. Well done. And does he have a brother? So I would say if you're going to propose with a fake ring, propose with a shit one or a small one, or at least something that you can beat in the real world. Anyway, so you're engaged. It's wonderful. It's gorgeous. It's lovely. Tell me all about it. Doesn't it feel amazing? Like it really, even if you know it's happening, the idea that someone loves you that much, I honestly think that's one of the best feelings I've ever felt in my life. is being proposed to. It's a real shame actually that that won't happen again. Well, never say never. So what do you do now? It's to me, because I've always been obsessed with weddings. Even when I was younger, I used to watch all the wedding rom-coms, and then I worked in a wedding venue for years before I became a celebrant. For me, I kind of knew stuff anyway, but to a lot of people, completely going in blind. No idea what to do, where to start, how to go about the planning process. No idea, which makes sense. Someone came to me and said, "Could you put together a political plan?" No, I can't. No, absolutely not. No, no idea. Can't even spell political if I'm totally honest. And again, Labour to me is giving birth, but not a political party. So I appreciate that to a lot of people, it's completely overwhelming. So I will say what I've said before a million times, but I can't reiterate it enough, is just chill out and enjoy the ride. Just enjoy being engaged. Being engaged is the best. Oh my God, it's so good. You get so much free booze. If people don't send you a bottle of fizz, I don't care if it's Cava or Prosecco. It doesn't have to be champagne. You know, I'm not that fancy. Taught posh, didn't I? But I'm not that fancy. It can be anything alcoholic, quite honestly. If someone doesn't bring you a bunch of flowers, a bottle of booze, they're off the potential guest list straight off the bat. You get so much stuff. You get cards, and everyone, generally, 99% of the time, everyone is so happy for you, which is so nice. Like, unless there's some sort of ITV style drama involved in your relationship or your family, I can't imagine you being like, "Oh, I got engaged," and someone going, "Oh, I am sorry. Are you all right?" Or, "Oh, boring." No, it's fantastic. It's wonderful. People are in love and are happy. It's just such a really, genuinely, really, really special time. So please just enjoy it. Please don't rush. Please. Are engagement parties a thing anymore? I don't know. See, for me, because I'm cheap and it's slightly boring. Well, not boring. I'm just a bit meh, unnecessary. I think an engagement party is unnecessary. I also think it kind of sets you up. If you have a really generous, elaborate engagement party, you have to have a wedding that's 10 times better. It's a bit like if you have a stag and a hen that's abroad and costs loads of money, and then you get married in a village hall. I think you're setting yourself up. Really, you're putting the benchmark too high. So maybe have some drinks in the pub. But I don't know. Is that a thing? Do people do that engagement parties anymore? I don't know. But just enjoy it and just take your time over it. If you do, let's say for argument's sake, you got engaged this Christmas, 24, 25, and you decide straight away, actually, we've got the money, we want a kid, or we're buying a house, or whatever. There's something, or sadly, a family member's not well, or if you know pretty much straight away that you're going to get married in the next 6 to 8 months, then yeah, enjoy it for a week. But if you then crack on. But if you are open to any dates and timelines and all the rest of it, then just enjoy it. Just take a few weeks to enjoy it, because once you do start planning, properly planning, it kind of snowballs a bit, really. And so it doesn't take the enjoyment out by any means, but it does become a different thing. It's less dreamy. Oh, we could get married here, we could get married there, and oh, well, we haven't thought about it yet. And oh, thank you so much. I know it's such a big ring. And it becomes sort of a bit more regimented, maybe, like you're actually having to think about things rather than just sort of float on this bubble of romantic gorgeousness. So please, that is my top tip. Number one, before you do anything else, just enjoy it and just take it in, because in theory, it's not going to happen again. And if it does, it'll be the second time. So it just won't feel the same. So just enjoy it. I think when you do start planning, there's a lot to consider. And actually, even do you know what? Even though I have done these episodes before, I am going to do them again. So I'm going to go into sort of proper what to do and how to start planning on next week's episode. But just to give you a rough idea, a rough lowdown, I would say when you start planning, start by making it fun, because as I've literally just said, it can become to feel like a bit of a chore, wedding planning, especially if you're not into it, or if you're really busy, or if you don't have a wedding planner and it's just a lot. It is overwhelming, it is. And so when you first start planning, I would say do it in a really enjoyable, relaxed, low-key way. Date nights. So, also don't just chill out on, like, every day sending your partner messages and Pinterest pictures, like, they're gonna get bored quick. Send it to me, I don't get bored. Um, but maybe say, "Okay, oh, babe, on Friday night or Saturday night, let's get a bottle of wine and a steak and, sit down and have a few drinks, put some music on, like, chill out, have, like, a little date night or go out even, and let's just talk about what we think we want." And do you know what it is? And I'm giving you a bit of a marriage tip here as well, because it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. If I want something, if I want my husband to do something he doesn't want to do, anything, um, rather than saying, "Can you take the bins out?" You say, "Oh, my back. Oh my God, I can't move. Oh my God, I was just about to take the bins out and I can't, my back." You're welcome. It's how you say it. So if you say, "Oh, let's just sit down and be like, oh, that's fun. Let's have a little date night and just talk about the wedding." Like, silly. Rather than going, "Tonight at 7 p.m., we're going to sit down and create the itinerary for which we shall plan our nuptials." Do you know what I mean? So make it fun. And I would say by making it fun, have a few drinks, have a nice dinner, light some candles, put on some Barry White, and talk about your dreams. Literally sit down and be like, "Okay, if budget was no um question, if we had all the money in the world, all the options in the world, we could go anywhere, do anything, any time of year, any amount of people, what would we do?" And sit down and sort of work out your dream. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna destroy that dream. Okay? So you're gonna work out what you really, really want, and then you're gonna just break it down bit by bit by bit by bit until you're left with absolute fragments of your ideal day. And that's what you're gonna get. I mean, I do mean that, but less dramatically. Work out your dream and then come back from it. Rather than don't start negative. Don't be like, "We can't afford anything, so let's get married in the garden with just Aunt Kath." Do you know what I mean? Like, start with like, "Right, okay, we're gonna go to Italy. It's gonna be a castle." "Oh, but if it can't be that, then do you know what? Let's get a castle in Weston-super-Mare." "Okay, it can't be that. Then we're gonna get a tent. Then we're gonna go to the garden. Then we're gonna go to Aunt Kath's in Weston-super-Mare." But make it fun, make it flirty and romantic and silly and be completely open with what you want. And do you know what the odds are in heterosexual relationships, and I am generalizing here, but in heterosexual relationships, most most men haven't really thought about it. They've proposed to you in perhaps if they've done the traditional thing, they proposed to you, but they haven't thought about anything that happens after that. So cut them some slack. Bear with, okay? You're going to need them on board, so just tiptoe, tread carefully. So sit down and say, "Right, what do you like? What do I like? What do you reckon?" And as you speak about it, um, and talk about like weddings you've been to in the past and um, things you've seen on telly, things you've seen in films, things you've listened to on the Olivia Coleman "I'll Marry You" a UK wedding podcast. Because you'd be amazed how many people listen to this before they're even engaged. It's a real worry. But also I applaud you and your positivity. Manifesting is what it is. Um, so sit down, make it fun and sort of gently I was gonna say gently probe each other, but I think that's a different podcast. Or is it? Gently try and work out what the other person is thinking. Can you imagine if you sat down like 6 months in and was like, "Oh, I want to get married on a ski slope with 5 people." And the other woman was like the other partner was like, "Actually, I wanna get married on a beach in Italy with 500." Not cool. Like, you have to be on the same page throughout the whole thing. So, it's really important that one of the first things you do is sit down and just talk about it. Really lightheartedly, no plans, nothing concrete. Just chat about what kind of thing you think your day would look like. And of course, there is a huge checklist. There's so many checklists. Get ready for the Wedmin because it's quite a big deal, of things that you need to discuss early. But I'm gonna cut you off now. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna actually just end it right there because not only is this a very unflattering top, and I don't want to have to look at myself anymore, but my breasts are leaking. So I need to go and sort that out. And also, my mother-in-law has had my baby for many, many hours. And I'm concerned that she's crying. I've come to the top of the house, so I couldn't hear her. But now I'm concerned that I can't hear her. My baby, not my mother-in-law. Well, both, quite frankly. So tune in next week, and I'm going to go through a bit more sort of strategy of what to do when you first get engaged and when you first start wedding planning, the checklists, the things you need to tick off, the supplies you need to go for first. There is there are old episodes where I talk about the same thing. So if you can't possibly wait, then go back to season 1 and listen to those episodes. And then you can compare notes and see if I've changed my mind on anything. You can pull me up on it, can't you? Thank you so much for listening. I'm really pleased to be back. I feel like I got into my mojo quicker than I thought. I thought it would take a good couple of episodes, but I think by the end of it, I'm all right, aren't I? Yeah? See you next Tuesday. Okay, so this week's RSVP, I had the most gorgeous message over Christmas. What's so lovely is that all you gorgeous listeners and my followers on social media, oh, I sound like a dick. I have like 2. I'm not a big deal. Anyway, keep telling yourself that, Liv. I got a message from Dan, and he says, "Happy Christmas, Olivia, and huge congratulations on the baby. What wonderful news. I was hoping to get some advice. I would like to propose to my partner, Phil, but as we are both men, there isn't the usual traditional protocol. How would you suggest I do it?" Dan, have you done it yet? I don't know. Because you sent me that on like the 28th. So I don't know if you've done it yet. If you haven't done it yet, I don't know. What is tradition? What is right or wrong? I think you should do exactly how you bloody want to do it. When my sister-in-law proposed to her girlfriend, that was the kind of the same thing. She was a bit unsure how to do it. And she did it like any other proposal. Just got down on one knee and said, "Will you marry me?" And then the only thing about that, the only sort of difference, I suppose, between perhaps a gay couple and a straight couple is that a few months later, the other partner proposed to my sister-in-law because they wanted to do it too. There is no rule that says you can't propose to each other. There is no rule that says it can't just be a conversation. I think what I'm getting from your message, Dan, is that you do actually want to do something quite traditional, but there isn't a traditional, I'm doing air quotes for those of you who are listening and not watching, traditional way of proposing man to man, man or man. I don't know. It's all a load of bollocks if you ask me. Love who you love and do what you do. Do who you do. You know what I mean? So if you want to do that, then do it traditionally. Just get down on one knee. Do whatever the bloody hell you want. It's your proposal. It's your partner. It's your life, Dan, you gorgeous man. And Phil will be absolutely lucky to have you. The end. Good luck. Message me and tell me how it goes. Tell me how you did it and tell me how it goes. I have actually had a proposal done before by a woman writing in. I think it was the first season. She wrote in and she wanted to propose to her girlfriend, but didn't know how to do it. And I answered the DM on the podcast, and she then proposed by listening to the podcast episode. Isn't that fun? I'm really a part of people's lives. Keep the questions coming. Good luck, Dan. Break a leg. Love ya. Thank you so much for listening. It really does mean the world. If you find this podcast even remotely helpful or moderately entertaining, share with all your friends and family. You can DM me any questions, queries, if you want to share any stories on the podcast Instagram at I'll Marry You Podcast. Get in touch. I want to hear all your tall tales. See you soon.
I'll Marry You is a podcast by Olivia Coleman. The music is Mr. Sunnyface by Wayne Jones, and the show is produced and edited by Drew Toynbee.
When I grow up.